When I was a kid, I used to think that we prayed before meals to cool off the food. And while I think that was an added bonus, I now understand the naivety of my young perspective and also the importance of a daily, and not just daily, but moment by moment prayer life. Growing up in a Christian home has been one of the greatest blessings of my life. But in an increasingly diverse world, conservative Christianity has come under fire as of late, and at times, rightly so, by both Christians and non-Christians alike. Today, we'll be exploring how humor helps us highlight, in a less aggressive way, the rather odd things that are now commonly associated with conservative Christianity. We'll begin by looking at the phenomenon of Christian mingle. Now, as a Christian, I don't just want anyone to be making fun of my beliefs. They're really important to who I am. They define who I am. But in Lynch's 2009 article, it asserts that jokes are an act of communication themselves, and they help us make sense of the world. In this following clip, what particular traits or characteristics of conservative Christianity are illuminated to help us make sense of different aspects of Christianity through humor?
It's pretty simple, really. I'm the local rep for ChristianMingle.com. Recently, we've got some reports of people not acting very Christian on dates. So, new company policy now, whenever anyone registers for the site, they send me over to the house, and I just do a quick look around, ask them a few questions just to make sure they're Christian. Hey, Brittany, I'm with Christian Mingle. We just got your application.
No, what do you mean? I didn't sign up for
Oh, yeah, one of your friends signed you up as a joke. Okay, everybody says that. And when did you get saved?
I think 12, maybe. Youth Camp First Baptist Church.
Okay, and do you still go there?
Yes, but it's not called First Baptist.
So that's something more like trendy now. It's like Mosaic or Crosspoint or like Watermark.
Thrive Church, actually.
Yeah, you walk into the building, you're not sure if it's a church or a Banana Republic. Hey, Chad, I'm with Christian Mingle. We just got your application. I just need to come over quick, ask you a few questions. Just take a look around the house, just make sure everything's good. Okay.
Is this even legal?
Pretty fast Wi-Fi you got here. You got a filter on this thing? I'm going to give you a mainstream band. You give me the Christian equivalent. Justin Timberlake,
Toby Mac.
Katy Perry,
Francesca Battistelli.
Nickelback.
Skillet.
Okay, and Switchfoot.
Switchfoot.
If I could just get a couple of dates of attendance for you here, just for background. Choir the Fire,
98.
True Love Waits,
2000.
Promise Keepers,
04.
Passion Conference,
2010.
and Catalyst.
We registered last week.
Anything information we need to know in here? Oh, what do we have here? That's going to be a problem. While I was having a look around, I did find your phone.
You took my phone?
Yeah, just a couple things quick I want to go over with you. Looking at here, Tinder and Snapchat are on page 1, and your Bible app is on page 2 in a folder, and it needs to be updated. Look, Google Plus? I mean, Christian or not, who's using Google Plus? In 2011, I noticed that you favorited a tweet with a swear word. Okay, mission trips?
Uganda 2009, Dominican Republic 2011, and World Race 2013.
Okay, so 2?
No, that's 3.
Okay, the world race. I'm talking about real mission trips. We don't count church-sponsored sightseeing tours. Oh, what do we got here? That's going to be a problem. We've heard it all recently. We've got reports of people going to R-rated movies. Hold on, Left Behind, is this the Kirk Cameron version? I don't think so. Okay. We've heard people not praying before meals. Let's say you're a nice young Christian woman and we're on the Christian Mingle date. Things are going well, and we're back at your place eating popcorn and watching Fireproof. Is this okay?
Yeah.
Okay, love the book collection. These candles are a little too Catholic-y for me. What about this?
Sure. No!
And Michael's or Hobby Lobby?
Hobby Lobby.
And Ulta or Sephora?
Sephora.
Wrong, trick question. Christians shouldn't be that concerned with outward appearances.
Are you serious?
Walgreens is fine, Target, maybe. Spirit lead me where my trust is without borders. Love's like a hurricane, I am a tree. I can't feel my face when I'm with you. But I love. Well, you shouldn't love it, and you shouldn't know that song. Is that safe for the whole family? I don't think so. I'm gonna be real honest with you, Brittany. I'm not seeing the fruit.
I don't know what else I can tell you. I volunteer at a soup kitchen on Thanksgiving. I work in the church nursery every week. I got a Bible verse tattooed on my shoulder. In Hebrew.
Okay, Republican or Democrat?
Republican.
Global warming.
No evidence.
Stem cell research.
Don't know what it is, but I'm against it.
Guns. Love them. Obama.
Hate him.
Welcome to Christian Mingle. I mean, I hear what you're saying, and on paper, things look great, but I gotta be real honest with you. Yoga pants? Like, Personally, I just don't see how someone can be a Christian and wear yoga pants. If there's anything I can do to prevent someone from a life of destruction, I feel like my work here is done. And I'm out of here, and don't even bother reapplying until you get rid of those yoga pants, get some Don Miller books added to that collection, you get a letter from a compassion child up on that fridge, okay?
Now, in leading a discussion on this particular video clip, I would follow up the clip by asking a few particular questions that you'll notice are on the post-discussion guide handout, so you can direct your attention there. The first being, in response to the lead question before the video was played, what 3 traits did you find that were kind of bashing on conservative Christianity? After some discussion, hopefully we would come to the point of talking about 3 different traits: churches trying too hard to be relevant, pushing rigid rules or the don'ts, don't do these things, and outward perceptions or expectations, the do's, you should do these things. Then we would talk a little bit about some of the examples of each trait, the funny examples that he used to help bring these to light, like having hip church names like Thrive or Christian band equivalents to popular artists today, pushing rigid rules like having a bottle opener suggesting that you shouldn't drink alcohol, or a man favoriting a tweet that had a swear word in it that you should never say swear words, or going to R-rated movies, things of that nature, or things that we should be doing like supporting Christian companies like Hobby Lobby instead of Michael's, or political affiliations like the man saying he was against stem cell research even though he doesn't know what it is. All of these are humorous examples to help shed a little bit of light on some of the not so great things that sometimes Christians are doing. The next question you'll notice on the discussion guide asks what he seems to be saying about these particular traits and about Christians through these humorous examples. And you'll notice that he's emphasizing things that we shouldn't be doing in a humorous way and things that we should be doing. So in one sense, it kind of seems like he's saying that we can be more focused on what people think of us rather than the message of the gospel. And in another sense, that we're too focused on the rules and regulations, letting that take the place of the message of the gospel as well. So ultimately, the core of our beliefs are often lost in the midst of trivial things. That's what the hopeful answer would be in a discussion around that question. The last question in relation to this clip would focus on the comedian himself, the home inspector. His name is John Crist. He is a Christian comedian, and he identifies himself as a Christian, like I just said, and calls himself from a conservative homeschool family. And Hackman, in his 1988 study and article, talks about how the potentially positive and negative impacts of self-disparaging humor and other disparaging humor. So a follow-up question to this clip would ask how understanding Chris is poking fun of himself and his own community impacts the audience's perception of his humor and of his character. In a slightly different vein, consider the following example from famous comedian Michael Jr. on being oversaved. The well-known comedian Michael Jr. also takes on the idea of Christians being a little bit too pushy or trying too hard. While Lynch's claims that I mentioned earlier use humor to make sense of something are likely in view here, look for, in this particular clip, how Michael Jr. uses humor as relief to take some examples to make the pushiness seem a little bit less out of control.
You ever hear somebody tell you an amazing story about how they almost got killed? I know it sounds like it's a skirt in Ireland, but that's how black people say it. Killed, man, if I would have turned this way, man, I would have got killed. Something told me to go the other way. I didn't want to be a Christian either for a long time because some Christians are creepy. There's some creepy Christians. There's creepy everything. There's creepy Muslims, but some Christians is creepy. You ever had somebody, they talk about God and their voice change all of a sudden? Like, yo, man, how you doing? Oh, I'm cool. Can I tell you about the Lord? What is wrong with your voice? What's wrong with your voice? Or somebody start praying in the middle of your conversation? You was just having a conversation. Yo, you see the game? That was a good game. Man, that game was good. God, we just thank you for being so holy, Lord. You're so awesome. I'm like, are we praying right now? You are creepy. Before I became a Christian, I would ask a girl out, and this one girl, I remember she said to me, she said, I'm dating Jesus. I didn't know what that meant. Now I realize she was just saying she wanted to get closer to God before she started dating. Back then, I had no idea. I thought she was dating Jesus. A month later, she called me up and said, you still want to go out? I'm like, did you break up with Jesus? I'm like, I don't know for sure, but I think it was your fault. Whatever happened, it was yours. Now you come to me, you are confused. You better go back. I'm telling you, he forgive you for everything and you get free wine, you better call him. You better go call him. Because what if I'm the jealous type, right? I walk in the room, she praying, I'm like, who you talking to? Because you got different types of Christians. This is what I found out. You got Christians who are cool. You can hang around with them. Iron sharpen iron relationships. Right? Then you got Christians who may have a little limp in their walk. They got the hat on, but the shoes don't match. Then you got Christians who, I'm just going to put this out there. You ever know somebody that was oversaved? Don't look at them. Don't look at them. You can't even have a regular conversation with him. He's like, hey, man, I'm thirsty. You thirsty? Thirsty for the Lord. Thirsty for the Lord. Hey, I lost my keys. Could you help me find my keys? You need the keys to the kingdom. I'm like, yeah, I didn't drive a kingdom. I drove a Toyota. I know as soon as I said oversaved, some of y'all had somebody in mind, but if you didn't, somebody had you in mind. You could be oversaved. You ain't know it. Now I got to let you know that you're oversaved. A couple indicators to let you know you're oversaved. Just a couple indicators. If you don't mess around with computers because they got a cursor. I'm sorry. If you rebuke vacuum cleaners because it's a dirt devil. I got an aunt that's oversaved. She messes up television shows for us. We're watching Extreme Makeover Home Edition. Beginning of the show, they always tell you the sad story about the people. My aunt gonna start praying for them. Lord, help them get a new house, Lord. Just they're gonna get a new house. They're gonna get a new house. She's like, yes, you gotta believe. I'm like, no, you gotta have cable is what you gotta do.
After viewing this clip, you can now direct your attention to the discussion guide again and notice how the first question relates to the original lead question. How do the examples bring relief to or make the pushiness seem less out of control? He uses somewhat extreme examples to make it seem ridiculous so that we can laugh at the problem, but also become more aware of the problem. For example, not using a computer because it has a cursor. Humor as relief seems to also incorporate humor as incongruity, which leads to the next question about how once he starts talking about being oversaved and all of those examples, what does he seem to be saying about Christians being pushy by doing this? And so we could look at in our discussion how incongruity theory makes us laugh because we're surprised or we don't expect things, which suggests that we don't necessarily expect these things or see these things as true of ourselves as Christians. And then I have a similar question to prompt some discussion about how knowing that he didn't grow up in a Christian family but became a Christian later in life, how that impacts our perception of him. Maybe similarly or different in light of the question about John Crist earlier. Both of these comedians take on slightly different approaches to looking at the problems that have become synonymous with Christianity. But with any luck, or by the grace of God, humor can help illuminate these problems so that the well-intentioned but perhaps poorly executed efforts of Christians can become not ritualistic traditions,